Hi, welcome to Badger Boost. I'm Badger. This is my caboose.
Alright, well, we're on the roof of my caboose up here. The wind just started picking up, of course. That's alright, we'll make do. But let me show you what I got going on here. When I first bought the caboose, I didn't know what to look for. And maybe this will help you if you ever looking to buy one or ever see one or anything. So anyway, these panels of the caboose roof are in about 4-foot sections. And basically, they overlap each other and then they're riveted on. Before the walkway is riveted on, they have these risers right here. You can see the holes through them. Well, all they do to protect this from water leakage is put a bead of caulk in between, from what I've seen anyway. So what I had problem with was there was water leaking down to through the insulation, through the wood paneling. So what I wanted to do was clean this up, stop the leaking, and what I decided to do, I don't know if it's the best thing, but I decided to cut off all these risers because they're rusted really bad, and then underneath them they've got holes in them. You know, you can stick your finger all the way through it. It's a good piece. So basically, I went down to my local welding shop and I had them build me some risers. And basically what this is going to do, it's going to do two parts. It's going to cover up the rusted hole section that's rusted through, and then in order to keep to basically keep the original look, which that's why you buy a caboose, you know, you want it to look like a caboose. I bought it, I had these made, so I have these risers, and then I'm going to bolt my walkway, if you can see it sitting here, on top of it. So in order to get this to fit, I'm going to have to place them in general places, and there's certain bolt holes in these with support beams going across. And I'm going to place all these. I'm going to place my walkway on top, get them where they'll fit right, and then I'm going to tack weld this down in any spot that I can get so it'll hold in place. I'll come back here and I'll weld it all the way around. Now, being that this is really thin metal here, and this isn't too thick either, basically because I wanted it about the same thickness, I'm going to, you can only weld like 3-inch pieces before it gets too hot and start melting holes and get holes burnt through. But I'm going to attempt using my welder that I borrowed and see what I can do. I'm going to go ahead and use my wire wheel on my grinder, clean up these areas. I got three areas that need cleaned up, and I'm going to attempt to get 4 of these on here today. The piece on the cupola is actually just angle iron that I'm going to clean up and weld on so it bolts up to this too. Hopefully I'll get this done this week, and I'll show you my progress and my finished results when I'm done. Alrighty, I'm back. Basically, what I've done, I placed this walkway down. I've got it anchored in a spot that was where it was originally put. I've placed all my risers. I've placed them where I want them, where they should be. I've marked where they go, taken everything up. I've took a wire wheeled the paint, and it was like super thick, probably an 8-inch thick paint. Wore out one wire wheel on my grinder. Cleaned up the rust spot that was underneath, placed everything back, anchored my walkway down, at one end so I could place it where I wanted it to be. Squared it up in between the windows, placed my risers underneath, got them set where the holes are going to line up so I can drill holes into it to mount the walkway platform. And I think I'm ready to start tacking. So you're going to see me do the first welding on my caboose here. If you didn't hear me, I said hopefully I don't mess up. Here we go. That ought to hold so I can, I've got it tacked down. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to go over to the other side, tack it into place, and then I'll move on to each one of the other risers. Then I'll take the walkway up and I'll finish welding around them. That way I can get that knocked out. So let's see what happens here. Alright, so I basically showed you me needing to clean off those extra spots for the steps. Showed you what it's like for me to get these risers up here, or not the risers, the walkway up here. I'm going to show, I talked to a couple guys and they said it'd probably be better if I had some footage of actually me working, rather than just me telling you what I'm going to do and then doing it. So I'm going to try to fast forward through this. I'll just record it, and all I'm going to do is basically clean this up. I'm going to set my piece of angle iron up here to where it about needs, put my walkway in place. That way I know where to line this up, and then I'll be ready to go. So here we go. It is warm up here. Sure I know which side's which. One side's longer than the other, and I want the longer side on the top. Good. All right. Alrighty, so what I've got going on here, I finally have the everything lined up where it should be. Got my magnets holding my riser, well, my angle iron riser piece right where it needs to be. I'm getting ready to tack it into place, and then I'll weld her up. And heck, I think this is actually the last riser of the caboose. I want to send a shout out to my nephew. He came up here and helped me do the north end. I started this video with the south end, but the north end's almost done. I did use the stick welder on most of the south end, or north end, I mean, sorry. On the north end I used a stick welder before I even started with the wire welder. And I burned a hole in a couple spots because the metal of the roof was rusted through, or not rusted through, but it was rusted to a point where it was so thin it was easy. I've already went through and touched up the one hole on the risers that has been a thorn in my side. Whenever it rains, it was leaking, so hopefully I've got it almost finished up. I'm going to throw another touch-up bead right on top of it because it kind of looks a little boogered, and I want it to look fair, but I definitely want it to hold. And let's tack this, and then I'll weld her up, and hopefully I should be done, and then I can move on to more rust holes. Here we go. And there she goes. My bad. And it fell right whenever I was getting ready to hit record. Let's give her a quick measure. Yeah, that makes me a little bit angry. Center from here. Yep, you said something that ain't in stone and it's gonna fall on you, but you know, it's part of the name of the game. So she's basically in place now. Please learn from my mistakes. I'll tell you what, these mistakes suck. Time wasting. You can see I'm dripping sweat drops all over the place. I do not do well in heat. There we go. I've got a good bead. Before I go crazy, I'm gonna make sure she's stuck where I wanted it. About 8. Just about 8. That'll do. That'll do. Let's get about 4 inches welded up. I've noticed with this wire welder, it's only a 110, and basically, if you try to weld like a 14 to 20 inch piece, you're gonna have troubles all the way down. You can only do in like 4 inch increments because the welder gets hot, it starts cutting out. The feeder starts acting wonky. So basically, I'm just gonna go 4 or 5 inches, and then I'll stop and I'll let it cool down for about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. And then I'll get back to it. That's exactly what I had to do on the rest of these risers too, by the way, just to let you know. I'd say 2-3 inches is pretty good. Now I don't know if you can see that bead, but I'm going to show you anyway. It's not terrible. I'm happy with it. I'll give you a quick eyeball. That way you guys know how well I'm doing. There it is. That's my welding in all its glory. Anyway, I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. I'm going to finish this up and I'll do a quick outro video. So there you go. So this has basically been my week. This has been what I've been doing. I've either been chasing pieces of metal, chasing parts to get other things done. Had a little special project going on. You'll see next week what I was talking about. I got all my panels welded on, which I'm very happy with. That is a big thorn out of my side. I got my riser top on. It's welded all the way around. Some people thought, well, why didn't you just tack it in place, you know? Well, because the problem that I had before, you know, whenever I bought this caboose, was that water had gotten in there. So weld it solid, water ain't getting in there. And after I coat it, it's gonna look good. It's gonna stay rust free, and all that. I need to send out a big shout out to several people. One, my cousin, you know who you are, gave me a call after my welding video, and you straight up set me straight on a bunch of pieces of welding information that I definitely needed. Thank you. Two, my nephews, they come up here, they help me quite a bit. They do intros, they help me do all kinds of work. They're great. Third of all, not third most important, but third of all, let's just give a shout out. It is Memorial Day weekend, 2020. I just want to put a shout out to our veterans, to our fallen veterans that has sacrificed their life in order to let us do what we want to do. So I was never in the military, but I definitely respect them guys. So I brought a beer up here. I'm not gonna be driving, but I want to. Maybe it's off screen, but I'm gonna pour out a little bit, and that's for our fallen soldiers. This is to everybody else. You might not think it's beer, but I try to watch my weight. You know, try to keep it on the slim side. Let's see, what else do we got going on? So I'll show you a little bit my risers. I know it's kind of wonky up here. They set overnight. Got a little bit of rust around them, but they're all done. 3 on the north side, all of them on the south side. Let's see, what else do I need to do? I think that's about it. I think I'm done for the day. I think I'm done for the week. Monday, tomorrow, starts a new week for me, and we'll do something new. Thank you for watching. Thank you to my fans. You know who you guys are. I walk into a store and they're like, "Hey, Badger Boos!" Like, man, that makes me feel so good. Like, we've been watching your videos. That's awesome. Heck, getting text messages. When you gonna get a new episode? I want to see how your project's going. Every Sunday I try to put out a video, whether I'm up here or not. And I fight the weather a lot. I'm trying not to let it get me too far behind schedule. But next week is looking like a rain week. Next 5 days it's supposed to rain starting tonight. So we'll see where that takes us. I've got plenty more to do, just prep work, and that's about it. Badger, out.